Hello and welcome to this bonus edition of Happy Times and Places. It's a positively inclined Doctor Who commentary podcast in which I, Toby Haydock, watch a Doctor Who story and accentuate the positive, but this time I'm joined by a guest, so there's two of us having a bash. Well, this is an unusual one. I am introducing our guest today because this bonus Happy Times and Places is going slightly off the beaten tracks. We're breaking protocol. My guest today is Tom Neenan, who is a BAFTA and Writers Award Guild nominated writer, actor and comedian. He was the head writer on The MASH Report, for which he was nominated for a BAFTA, as well as Late Night MASH and Hello America for Quibi. He wrote and starred in the acclaimed Radio 4 comedy horror sitcom The Haunting, which was nominated for a Writers Guild Award. And he's done a Big Finish Doctor Who, and he's done all sorts of television and radio and acting gigs as well. And he's just done, as I record this, his Edinburgh preview for 2026, a portrait of a Tom as a young Neenan, which is a brilliantly funny show, chock full of wonderful lines, but also tackling some quite serious issues, but not in a ponderous way at all. It's an upbeat, brilliant and funny show. And Tom, I've known for many years, we'll talk about it during the podcast, but he was an audience member of Moths Ate My Doctor Who Scarf when he was a young student whose amazing career was then just a promise, but it's a promise he's fulfilled. And so Tom and I are doing an unusual thing because he was staying at my house. We're doing a joint together Happy Times and Places, as I'm sure I'm about to say again, as I did last night. But Tom Neenan, everyone! Right, apologies if this is echoey, but oh no, that's looking all right. I'm looking at my waveforms, and they're looking rather super. But for once, in Happy Times and Places, I'm sharing the microphone. We're going to do the first ever duo commentary for Happy Times and Places. So we're going to choose our things live and in the same room as each other. I'm going to ask my guest to introduce himself.
Hello, faithful listener. I'm Tom Neenan, and I'm delighted to be in Haydock Towers, where I'm going to see a Happy Times and Places happen in front of me. I feel like I've won a competition. I feel like I've designed the Absorbaloff, and now I get the treat of watching this all happen and being part of it. I'm so excited.
Well, we can sort of see the Absorbaloff,
yes,
can't we? Because we've got iPlayer up. I'm not in my booth. I'm in my man cave that Tom has squeezed into.
It's so impressive, listener. It's incredibly impressive.
There's an ambassador of death, Stigron, all sorts, a Martian, and an odd collection of DVDs.
The one I'm most impressed by is the TARDIS box set of Series 1. Of the RTD series, which I remember coming out and thinking, oh yeah, that'll sort of sit uncomfortably on a shelf somewhere. And I think actually you found a really nice home for it. I think it looks handsome.
On the top, next to the complete Shakespeare, BBC Shakespeare, and Battlestar Galactica Blu-ray. There we go. There's a window into the cave. Now, we've decided to do a joint Happy Times and Places. It was actually quite hard choosing an episode.
Yeah, we were wondering what would complement it being a dual commentary, and we wanted something I think we both like, and something that we both could sort of have something to talk about. And I think we've actually come up with they'll know because it'll be on the little label, but it's worth knowing that some thought went into it, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're about to awaken the army of ghosts. Now, we're from a slightly different generation, aren't we, Tom? So how old were you when this went out?
Right, I would have been, I think, in my first year at university.
Right.
So I was given I was one of those people who saw the bootlegged Rose. I'm sorry to say. Hope that doesn't get me cancelled.
Oh. I think there's a statute of limitations. I think you're fine.
I think so. And so I saw that, and I was sort of I was going into the new series a bit dubious because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure it was going to be like, and I immediately knew it was going to be amazing, and I just lapped up. I think the first 4 series are unparalleled in just their quality, and I loved it. So yes, first year of university, I was watching this and loving every second, and I've got other little tidbits that place me at a certain time while we're watching it as well. Where were you?
Well, I mean, I was round the corner writing a show called Moths Ate My Doctor Who Scarf, which is where we first met.
Yes.
Because when I was at the Edinburgh Fringe doing it, you were in the Durham Review.
Yep.
So actually, this was probably the last set of episodes to go out before I went to Edinburgh and we met for the first time.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's wonderful.
Isn't it?
That's really nice.
And listeners, you meant Tom was in the Durham Review with Ed Gamble, Nish Kumar. It was an absolutely lovely show. But more importantly for me is that they came to see the very first, I think, or a very performance of Must Take My Doctor Who Scarf. And then if ever I had critics in or a low audience or anything like that, I'd have a word with the Durham Review boys and they would come in, and you must have seen it about 8 times. And I felt like I had these allies at my shoulder, and you were so supportive, and it was very, very lovely.
So you had the 3 most obnoxious laughers in comedy in your front row, so I'm glad it paid off.
But what an illustrious bunch.
Well, exactly. I think it was really nice. So I've just come from doing XS Malarkey, and there was a slight smell of the damp brick, which is very evocative. That certain smell I associate with. You were, I think it was an Underbelly venue when you did it, and it became a Just the Tonic venue, which is sort of the caves.
Yeah.
And you made that cave set work really well, because you had a sofa and you had, like, you sort of did sort of a living room, didn't you?
Yeah, it was like a living room on the planet Voga.
Yeah.
But it did have that musty smell. When Daniel Kitson did XS Malarkey in that same room that you did, he said it was like somebody had just hung out some damp medieval clothes over a fire.
Exactly. The was it Heaven Sent Capaldi costume that he leaves, presumably having walked around this first circuit of the castle naked. Is that?
Yeah. Don't think about it too much. But that was all a glimmer. We wouldn't have believed that we'd have a Dr. Capaldi, because we were at the height. This was the very best time to be alive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As Doctor Who fans.
One question. Oh, maybe I can sort of throw this in as a little question as well. So I remember asking you a while back, and I think you sort of paused it and went, "Oh, I'll think about that." Is at what point do you think it's been most exciting to be a Doctor Who fan? Like either a second, a moment in time where you can think, "Oh, being a Doctor Who fan is like." I think this is one of them. I think this is up there.
I have such affection for this time because, they say you have to go through pain to achieve to experience happiness. It was painful being and Must Take My Doctor Who Scarf was actually bred from trying to be cathartically expunge that pain, and thanks to my director Mark, it actually became much more celebratory, because it would have been much more a score settling, like one of those autobiographies where naturally I had the last laugh. And he said, no, lean into the family stuff, lean into the nice stuff, because it was much angrier show actually, because he and it was with Mark actually that I had that moment that I think you're asking me to find. And I remember, because we'd both got kids, Mark and I, and his kids about a year older than my eldest, and we walked with our kids, having been blokes who'd sat in pubs with Doctor Who magazine and gone, "Oh, wish Doctor Who was on," and gone home and watched a VHS of Ark of Infinity or whatever, and that was about as good as it was going to get.
Yeah.
We walked in as men with our kids into Toys R Us on Ancoats, not far from where we've just been, and it had a whole Doctor Who, not a whole Doctor Who corner.
Oh my goodness.
And the music was blaring out, and when the kids saw it, that like Rose at the end of Rose, they ran towards the corner, and we just looked at each other and went, "This is just the best time to be." Considering that not that long ago it had been the butt of everybody's jokes, and the best we could hope for was an ill thought out anniversary, wedged into children in need or whatever, know. So and the fact that it had gone from what it was to what it became was just felt like a real vindication of everything, and that the sun was shining.
It really does, and like it always just needed to be put in front of people who would appreciate it in a new way, and they would absolutely lap it up. And I think these 2 series as well, I think they stay so like pure to the core of what Doctor Who is as well, in terms of it doesn't feel like it feels like it is the same show, and that's such an achievement. I think for me it's at the end of Voyage of the Damned, when you see a trailer for series 4, and Tom Goodman-Hill, the trailer ends with Tom Goodman-Hill saying, "It's been a most entertaining evening," and I remember just feeling like we've just seen an incredibly exciting series of trailers for what's going to be an amazing series 4. We've just watched Voyage of the Damned, which at that time, which I thought was a great episode, and at that time I think had something mad like 14 million viewers.
Something ridiculous,
yeah. And so you just sort of think, I don't think this show has ever been in ruder health, and we're about to go into series 4, one of my all-time favourite Who series, and just Tom Goodman Hill doing that, which I think is such a lovely kind of grace note to that whole thing, just feels like, oh my goodness. And it's Christmas Day.
And I think that's partially because you're talking about getting to season 4, and I think we'd been expecting it to fail at some point.
Yes.
So it'd been surprisingly successful, but we were going, yeah, but it's going to get found out, or people are going to go off it, and it actually just got bigger and bigger.
Yeah. The thing that never happens, which
Yeah.
is it, people like it more, and it's absolutely incredible. But this is like in the meat of it just being loved and being amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and us just about to meet. So how funny! That's not why we chose it.
No.
We really weren't sure. So here we go. I think we were thinking of trying to do a funny one, weren't we? But this has got a bit of everything. So, gentle viewer, we are going to press play on Army of Ghosts in 3, 2, 1. There'll probably be a trailer actually. So, and I'm not sure. Oh no!
Oh, here we are, straight in.
We have it straight in. That the yes, I remember when Doctor Who season started with a zoom into England on the planet Earth.
Yes, yeah. Remembrance, was that the first kind of one to do that?
I love that. Except, of course, it ruins it by pausing at the end. The Dalek space comes and then somebody presses pause because it was the 80s and they thought the pause button was all right.
Yeah.
Now, how do we feel, Tom? Because I remember, within me was still the angry Doctor Who fan at this point who wanted to get angry about things. RTD must go.
Yeah.
And the popular ones, I loved Love and Monsters, you see, but I wanted to kick against the ones that everybody loves.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the fact that when Rose says, "This is the story of how I died," what she means is not actually died? You're a writer and a script editor.
Yes,
if
indeed.
somebody gave you a script and said, "My hook is that somebody says they die," and you go, "How do they get out of that?" And they go, "Well, they don't actually die."
Yes.
Wouldn't you tell them off?
I'd say that doesn't count. And then if that person then 2 years later went, "This is a death," and it's that person forgets the last year, I would then say, I think you're stretching it even more.
Yeah.
But it's that writer flexing and being like, right, the hook is to get the viewer in, right? And what happens in the meantime is fine. And then Russell is winking at us, right? It's him going, yeah, it's not... I mean, it's a legal death. I'm sure, like, technically some paperwork was filed to say Rose Tyler has died because she's no longer on planet Earth or in this dimension, but do we count that?
Yeah, so admin-wise.
Yeah. If you wanted to play it by the thing, you would have someone in an office somewhere stamping deceased on a form that says Rose Tyler, and you go, oh, okay. But it's more interesting to have her go, "This is how I died." You're like, what?
Who and Tyler deceased.
Yeah. Graham Harper.
Isn't that nice seeing the name Graham Harper on New Doctor Who?
It's incredible. Energy. That was his thing, wasn't it? Yeah. I love it.
And you can kind of feel it, and the confidence of these characters, and you know, and I sometimes think, because looking back at these, and you go, "Oh, it's Jackie Tyler." We haven't seen Jackie Tyler for ages. I love Jackie Tyler.
Yeah. It's delightful. Jackie Tyler's probably my age now, and she was the mum.
Oh, the Jackie Tyler that we're watching. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she'll be younger than younger than me, than I am now, because yes, I was 32 when this was on.
Right.
Was I? Yeah, probably. Because I'm 52 now. It was 20 years ago.
Wow.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Of course. Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of water under the bridge. And a lot of hair. A lot of potential.
I think it is a strip. But then David Tennant sort of doesn't look any different in Rivals, does he? I mean, he's sort of a bit more wrinkly, but he's still got the energy, and he's still got the kind of... it's almost like the last 20 years haven't really affected him as much.
No, if anything, he's thinner now, isn't he? He's sort of... But people... But people are thinner these days, aren't they? It's extraordinary. Everybody's rather cadaverous these days.
Quite scary.
But it's weird because, of course, watching this at the time, you would never think it would date, but it does look... The colour palette's slightly dated.
Yes.
People's slight sort of fleshy puppy fattiness that you wouldn't associate with characters in a thing like this
Yes.
these days. You know, we've done different things to ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah, it's very like Jackie Tyler. If you wanted to do a Jackie Tyler now, she'd dress different, she'd look different. This is. What do you think about the ghostly? Well, we don't know what they are yet. You don't think they're ghosts, do you? I don't think you're meant to think they're ghosts properly.
No, but I think because I think there's enough of a mystery there. I think what they did very well at this time was that even if you knew what was coming, you kind of forgot.
yeah.
Because at the end of this episode, I think I kind of knew, but I still went wow when it happened. Even though I kind of knew, because there'd been I don't know. I'm just going. There'd been a black one on an award ceremony. Why aren't I saying Daleks? It's because they haven't happened yet.
Yes, in a way, you've made it worse.
Yes, indeed.
By avoiding the thing. But no, yes, because that was the. At this point as well, I think that the three of the triumvirate of of Russell and Julie Gardner and Phil Collinson felt so powerful that something like a prop being used outside of their knowledge, there was like. It was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember, he talks about in his book, The Writer's Tale, about this prop got out of our control, and it's like at this time they had so much control over the series. It's no leaks.
Absolutely. And of course, I mean, the internet was very different in those days as well. And what I love about he's a real guy, this guy, isn't he? Alistair Appleton. He's a television presenter, but later he dies. Is that the only time in Doctor Who that they've actually killed somebody who's real?
Good question. Technically, does Hugh Edwards? No, he's erased from existence, isn't he?
That was prophecy.
Yeah. And am I right? You'll probably know about this. When we're looking at the lines on the screen here, when they zoom in and the lines are on the screen, is that a thing they have to do to sort of go, you're not watching the news, this is drama? So, you can have the TV screen that kind of defines they are watching the TV, and if they punch in, they have to
so they have to heighten the sort of pixelation.
I think so.
In order that you don't think because it works stylistically as well. It's I didn't realise it was actually a legal obligation, but that makes absolute sense because yes, that doesn't look like EastEnders. It looks like EastEnders is on the telly.
Yes, exactly.
It's amazing how many of Barbara Windsor is dead. Derek Acor is dead.
Oh my God, yeah. And also this now is problematic with things we now know about the comic of the Children in Need special, about whether EastEnders is canonically a television programme in Doctor Who, or if Albert Square is in Doctor Who.
Well, and of course in Rogue, Doctor Who listens to Kylie in the TARDIS, having never said in Voyage of the Damned to Astrid, "You look a bit like Kylie Minogue," who is one of my favourite singers, or will be in one of my future regenerations. Yeah.
In the Who universe, Kylie looks like Bella Remberg, and that's how they skew it. Is like you're just not meant to. I assume,
So the Who Kylie, because we've never seen the Who Kylie.
Yeah.
Right. That would be a good gag, actually, if he gets a Kylie Minogue album out and it's Bella Remberg. But then they'd have to erase her from Love and Monsters.
Oh, wait, she is in that, isn't she? Yeah. Of course. This is very good, isn't it?
It's just... I watched Tiptoe. I've watched the first 2 episodes of Tiptoe.
Oh, yeah.
And what Russell T Davies is very good at is at creating a gang you want to be part of. Everyone seems like they have a lot of fun together. And when he's at his best, it's sort of infectious.
Yes.
Now that can sometimes tip over, and you feel a little bit excluded when the Doctor and Rose are sometimes at their worst, and he's retconned that and go, but it's hubris. It's they get what's going. But the gangs of characters that he creates these whole environments in quite economic. Establishing scenes like Alan coming into work, and you immediately get who does what and who he's in relation with, and that they have this fun sort of band stuff, and it just makes you go, I wish my life was a bit like that.
Probably the sort of most economical way he does that is in It's a Sin, where they have the La, where they all do that, and suddenly La is like how they greet each other, and we see the origins of that in joke. Yeah. And then we see how it permeates, and you can now buy t-shirts with La on, and then you're part of the gang. It's the third step, isn't it? Where it jumps out the screen, and suddenly you're wearing a t-shirt that says La, and you're part of the gang as well.
Yeah. Now, this Raji James here. What connects Raji James and Tom Neenan? They've both been to XS Malarkey. Raji is a mate of Do you remember the comedian Ray Peacock? Ian
Do I?
Boldsworth.
Well,
yes, of course. 'Cause
Yeah.
he
He did a podcast as well. Yes. So did he attend? XS Malarkey?
Very sweetly, just after he'd been in Blink.
Oh yes,
He had a gig at XS Malarkey, and not only did he bring his friend Raji, who's also been in Doctor Who, he brought his sides with him and gave them to me. So I have those.
What a decent man.
What a nice man.
Yes, it was Raji James who, I think once again, Statute of Limitations, I did ask and he said, I'm in the finale and it's Cybermen versus Daleks.
Oh, really?
Yes, because he knew how excited I would be. And then he went, and there's another actress, and then she'll be the assistant. I don't know how you knew that. That was no, he didn't say that. But it's Freema Agyeman there.
Right, well, I'm not casting him in my production of The Mousetrap then.
But he was great. He was one of the Ferreiras.
In EastEnders, yeah.
Yep. So once again, is he in the EastEnders they were watching with Barbara Windsor? And yeah, it's very confusing.
Oh, that is very confusing.
Who's this man, Toby? Who's the man she's...
Well, we've got Hadley Fraser and Oliver Meller are the two. So that's Hadley Fraser, who's a big musicals actor.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He's big. He's big. He's quite a big cheese.
Oh.
Yeah. He does all the musical stuff. And Oliver Meller, who's the other one,
Yeah.
I was at a convention with about 6 months ago, and he was absolutely lovely.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
he hasn't changed a bit either. He's still very handsome. But no, Hadley Fraser never stops. I think if you go to sort of West End shows and stuff, he will be one of the leads. You know.
Like who's his name's you'll know is who's Harriet Jones's assistant, who's
Adam Garcia, yes,
who is a huge musical. Before that was sort of a big.
He was in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang with my friend Foxy, who was in Emmerdale, who was playing Grandpa Potts, and they had a great time. Yeah, but by the time that I went to see Foxy in it, Adam Garcia had moved on, and it was somebody else who hadn't been in Doctor Who.
Boo.
But Wendy Padbury's son was in it. So.
Nice. Freema Agyeman hasn't aged as well. I know it's not done to comment on how women look in their ages, but it is true. She looks exactly the same now as she did then.
Yes. Oh, I thought you said right. She hasn't aged too, rather than she hasn't aged as she hasn't aged as well as David Tennant has aged.
Oh goodness, no.
She hasn't aged as well as the rest of them. Have you seen her? She looks terrible. No, she hasn't aged. No, she's exactly the same. And I think has had an impressive career. But I remember thinking, there's no way they're going to make her This has been one of those classic confusion things that they've cast an actress in the show, and the press have put two and two together because Billie Piper's leaving, and they see a photo of a woman arriving on set, or an agent's got her on a cast list or something, and they go, well, she'll be the next one. No, it wasn't the papers being imaginative. It was the casting department going, we've cast a woman, we need a woman, let's cast the same woman.
Which is, I mean, surely you've cast someone and they've been really good, they've turned up on time, they've known their lines, they've done a good performance. They didn't make enough of an impact that people will go, but hang on, that's the lady from The Office, because she dies quite quickly. So, like, from a casting point of view, do you think it's sort of that's acceptable to go, well, now she can be and we don't.
I think if it's me, it's acceptable.
Yes, fair enough.
If it's somebody else, it's not. It's that old casting adage, isn't it? I remember when I was trying to get in at the Royal Exchange Theatre, and my agent said, Toby, the thing is they're very cliquey. And then I got an audition there and I got a job, and she said, the good thing about the Exchange, Toby, is they're very loyal. And I was like, that's very interesting, because 2 weeks ago they were very cliquey.
Two sides of a coin.
Absolutely. What do you think of the Ghostbusters bit? Because I remember people because when people started to turn on this era, as they did, people would cite that as being a step too far.
I don't know. I don't see that. I think that a lot of what David's Doctor is quite performative. I think that you're misunderstanding him if you think that him with his brilliant and all that is like it's a bit of a mask, isn't it, that he wears, and you can see the darkness creeping through, and so him being a bit goofy, I think, is part of the mask he puts on. So I don't actually mind it. Do you mind it?
No, I never minded it. And in fact, I like David Tennant's Doctor more now than I did then. I didn't dislike him then. I was just slightly surprised by the Barraboy shtick. Do you know what I mean? I expected him to be more, because having had the sort of culture shock of the Northern Doctor, the Eccleston thing, I thought Tennant was going to be more in my image, the sort of RP character actor type of thing, and I thought he'd be quite sort of geeky scientisty rather than go, and so it wasn't quite what I was expecting. But I don't because I think he's very deceptive as an actor.
Yeah.
Or the best actors are. They make it look easy. Is that you actually don't realise how much he's driving it and how much heavy lifting he's doing.
Yes.
I think Davison is like that. Davison drives the pace of his episodes, and I think Tennant here, and I think it's harder because Davison at least had sort of semi-continuous recording. Tennant always knows exactly where he's coming from and where he's going to.
Yeah.
And he's and these things rely so much on their pace. And
also, you assume recording days as well. If you're the lead actor, you're sort of the host of a party as well.
Yeah.
Like, you very much dictate how it. If it's coming from the top down, because on the call sheet they're feeling rotten and they're not enjoying it. Everyone does. Whereas I always get the feeling from his performance, from everything, that he's just leading from like the Graham Harper thing, energy, and like giving it his all, and probably knows all of the makeup ladies' names and the names of their kids and everything, and is sort of he's being the doctor off screen, and then that bleeds into the
absolutely, and it does make a show, I think.
Yeah,
and I've got yes, and I've got some things I will tell you off mic about non-David Tennant. Anyway, let's not get into that. But I've never heard a bad word about him, and I think he took very seriously his.
Yes. One thing I love as well is he's protective of the accent. I remember he did on a radio station or something, and they'd written this rubbish bit of script for him to read as the Doctor, where he talks about his sonic screen, all the sort of nonsense. And they said, "Oh, do you want to do it as the Doctor?" And because David Tennant is A, game for a lot of stuff and very generous, but B, also professional, he was like, "Okay," and he starts doing the thing, and he goes, "I'm not doing the accent." I think he is quite protective on when he deploys the Cockney Doctor. And I don't think he does it for anything.
Interesting.
A bit like, when Russell had to do the that charity scene of someone who was going to be a monster in... did they win a competition to be a monster in a scene with, like, the Doctor and Jack Harkness or something? And Russell Davies, I think it was something like the last thing he'd ever written for this era of Doctor Who. And he went... "Oh, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make the last lines I write for the Doctor be a throwaway scene from for a competition winner."
Yeah, which I think is fair enough.
Yeah. And the person's still got to be in a scene with, David Tennant and what's his name? Oh God, this is awful. Captain Jack Harkness.
John Barrowman.
John Barrowman. Thank you very much. See, once you're gone, you're gone. From the, it's brutal.
You're from the cancelling generation.
Yeah,
you are.
Exactly. Tracy Ann Oberman.
Yes.
Great. She's EastEnders as well, isn't she?
She is EastEnders.
Yeah.
She killed Dirty Den, or Kiston from Resurrection of the Daleks. Gets very confusing,
it really
doesn't
it? She's great. She's really good.
Have you ever encountered her?
I have not, but she is a dramatic actor who does a lot of comedy, right?
She is, yes.
So she's done things like Friday Night Dinner, I think she's in, and stuff like that.
She was in the Dad's Army remakes that I did the warm-up for at the last minute, because, well, I don't know what the previous guy had done, but when I texted Kevin McNally and said, "They've just asked me to do the warm-up for Dad's Army tomorrow," and I can't say what he wrote, but he was very happy, and it had but in a way that involved swearing.
Yeah. Who was the Pike? Because there's been several.
Tom Rosenthal.
Yeah. Oh, there you go, from Friday Night Dinner.
Yeah.
There's some good Pikes. Kieran Hodgson was a good Pike.
Yes, Kieran Hodgson is a Doctor Who fan.
He is. Have you heard his Hartnell's very good.
His Hartnell's. I wish he still did those on. He's actually agreed. He asked to do Snake Dance for Happy Times and Places several years ago, and he's not done it.
Come on.
But he came up to me. Because he was a team captain on University Challenge.
Oh wow!
So,
while you were doing warm up.
Well, I was doing warm up,
amazing!
And of course I'd done the Edinburgh show, so he came up to me and talked to me.
Oh, that's amazing. He chose to. Used to do cut or like sort of bad impressions Doctor Who, but then
brilliant.
They're so good. But then he started doing them for like shows that have loads of millions of views around the world.
His Crown one was very good.
Yeah.
But now I've got to ask you, Tom, what do you think of the coral TARDIS?
What a mad thing. What a mad bit of design that I love. But you wouldn't look at any of the previous TARDISes and go, "This is what the TARDIS should look like."
No.
And I sort of love the madness of it. But yeah, it's not... Obviously, they just wanted to move so far away from the sort of light grey and the beige of sort of the 80s. But yeah, what do you think of the coral?
I am much more of a fan of the TARDIS has been bashed together with broken bits of clockwork droids or whatever, and I quite like the chess set. I even quite like the custard cream. Is that and all that? Which makes because the idea that the Doctor has been fixing it in a ramshackle way. I think the reason Doctor Who appeals to me more than Star Trek is because I like the fact the Doctor's a bit of a klutz.
Yeah.
He's not perfect, and therefore that's why imperfect people can aspire to try to be like them. I don't think the Doctor should be an identification figure, but let's not get into that because I'll get serious. But I like the fact that the Doctor gets things wrong. This is all very funny.
This is good, isn't it?
But that colour inside the TARDIS, looking at it now, the filter that they use and the colour, it didn't seem like that at the time. Do you know, it looks to me now like a window into the past.
Yes.
Whereas at the time it looked very fresh and modern and new.
It's like when you see films from the early noughties when like digital cameras had just come in and everything looks a bit like the first 28 Years Later film where it's all kind of, it's almost like the pixelation and stuff is part of the charm of it in a sense. And this is like, they're throwing on the filters. What's amazing about the coral is, I think, depending on how it's lit, it does depend on how it's lit because that almost looks like they're pretending it's underwater. Like,
yes.
It's very strange. That's how you'd light something if you wanted it to look like it was a sub... in a submarine or like a viewing deck or something under the sea. Whereas, say, I'm just trying to think, there's somewhere it's like a rich brown or something that I think I prefer that lighting.
Yeah.
I think I prefer, it looks dry. I like the rails with the sponge on because that is a bit more cobbled together TARDIS, yeah.
And it's far better health and safety wise than the current accessible TARDIS, which is a death trap, especially if you enter it in a wheelchair.
Oh my God.
You go up that safety ramp and then you go in and you just fly off the side, wouldn't you?
Of course. Yeah, there's no ramps at all there there's no handrails or anything.
No.
Wow, okay.
So it's accessible but also fatal. So it's equal opportunities.
Yeah.
If you're disabled, you can get into the TARDIS and die. What about, because obviously you were young, this is obviously the culmination of Torchwood being seeded throughout the season, and we knew the spin-off was coming, but I don't think we'd anticipated that the Torchwood references in Who were going to lead to the season finale being so Torchwood heavy. And I remember it feeling very exciting that they'd landed in Torchwood, and this was where everything was happening.
Yes. It really... All you need for an arc, really, is sort of a word or a theme that leads in some way to a finale. I think he sort of sewed in as much as you wanted with, and no one felt alienated. And then when you land in Torchwood, this slightly mythical thing you've only heard a bit about suddenly is manifest. And it's a way of... I do think that's a really good way of doing a series. It does help they had 13 episodes as well. So that builds the anticipation better than how heavy's the TARDIS. That's another
one, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Marco Polo, you can move it around on a cart, but and here as well apparently. But
yeah.
Do you like the left or the phone door being able to be opened?
Yeah, I don't mind that sort of stuff. I don't mind that sort of stuff. And I don't mind the stuff about whether the TARDIS is heavy or not. I quite like, in the same way that in the 60s I quite like it if they have a different title font for the episode or whatever. I don't mind if Doctor Who's not uniform.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Which is why, because we as fans get, I mean, you're looking at my DVD shelves now, and we even have reversible sleeves so that everything matches. But of course, that's mad because Doctor Who doesn't match.
Oh no, you drive yourself mad. I mean, I have got all my collections in the the standard edition because all of the BBFC certificates are in the same format. So that's that's not helpful. But no, you can drive yourself absolutely insane trying to sort of draw a line of, like, for instance, when you enter the TARDIS, does it have a little porch like it does in Legopolis, or does it just go straight into the TARDIS, or like it does sort of from the series 1 onwards, or I assume it has a porch in Legopolis. She sort of walks into a bit of a dark area before she then enters.
It's like the bridge between one dimension and the other, isn't it?
Yeah.
But so when you were watching this as a young man, was it a solo pleasure? Did you have friends that you shared the experience with?
I would. So there were a few people who I would watch Doctor Who with. Fun fact: I watched at a house party. I did the cliche thing, and I said, "Oh, can we all watch Doctor Who?" And it was School Reunion, so I'm really glad I watched that one. So I watched that with Nish Kumar next to me, and when Sarah Jane says, "You didn't drop me off in South Croydon," because he's from South Croydon, he was very chuffed.
He loved that bit.
yeah.
Without realising it was a reference to the Hand of Fear.
Exactly. Yeah. He was just happy they mentioned Croydon. This looks good. I think it looked good at the time. I think we were watching this on an amazing TV, and I think it doesn't quite hold up to like the standard we do now, but I don't think it's aged abominably. The ball, the floating sphere.
No. And Harper's that shooting from the roof and all that. Graham Harper's a brilliant director. I'm surprised at how smudgy it is, though.
Yes,
isn't it? It because of the filter that they've used, or because of the age of it, or something that it doesn't look as pin sharp as we're used to now, does it? It's
because this would be pre-HD as well, wouldn't it? Never mind your 4K. This is pre-HD when you'd be. I love the fact also that I did enjoy telling Raji James that up until this point, I think the only two people who'd been immune to psychic paper were him and Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Also that after this, but yeah, it was him and Shakespeare the only two who were immune to psychic paper.
That's pretty good. I bet he wields that. That's a good convention story. Isn't
Yeah,
it? And you know that actually I'm the only. He's so good at doing all of that stuff, isn't he?
Bottom teeth. I love it when he bares his bottom teeth.
He's an actor that leads from the jaw, isn't he? He's quite a jawy actor.
Is that a theatre-y thing, do you think? Like, I'd say a lot of what he does is even like going back 20 years, I don't think he'd do this performance now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think he'd be, I don't know, but like, you'd be cognizant of, say, imagine you got nominated for an Emmy, and that his performance would be on an Emmy montage next to Noah Weil or someone doing quite a small, intense performance, and maybe you would rein it back a bit. I don't know, and I think it would be no better for it, if that makes sense.
No, I agree, and I actually like I like sort of theatrical type performances on television if they're judged right, which he does. You know, you have the theatrical largesse, but through a television filter, and he did the Davison thing, didn't he? There of going the wrong direction and coming back, which is beautiful. And these are very cyber, aren't they? Like in Earthshock and Tomb of the Cybermen, when they have sort of plastic to come through. This is and it's so. I mean, that's so Doctor Who. You don't see anything. No, you have a sound effect, a few sparks, and it's great, and it's horrible. Yeah.
And there'll be kids who are now adults who will swear blind they saw him getting minced up.
Yeah.
But they never did. It was just whatever they imagined.
And it's the only thing, isn't it, that really I know kids sometimes watch films that aren't designed for them and witness horrible stuff. And there are kids shows where, terrible things don't happen because they're kids show. Doctor Who exists in this strange place where it's a thing that we allow kids to watch but let them witness because of the way that it's housed, terrible acts of violence that you wouldn't want in Grange Hill or
It's so strange. What the threat can be, I think, is I think it's more akin to like working children's TV than it is anything else, because I think there's only one. Not really sort of criticising it, just more an observation, but I do think the one time where I think it slips into being adult and the threat is too adult is maybe Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, when David Bradley sort of implicitly says that he intends to sort of do something with Nefertiti.
Yes.
Where I'm like, oh, that feels like a threat that would happen in an adult drama, and this feels like, no, someone can be like ground up and minced up by a Cyberman because that's not a threat they'll ever encounter, and the parents can explain and go, yeah, but that's the Cybermen, and that won't happen to you, kind of thing. Whereas threats about horrible men being horrible.
So you're saying that Chris Chibnall got hold of a dramatic device that he didn't know how to deploy in a program of this kind.
one could argue what that could be something you could say. Is that even the London doesn't look like that anymore, does it? That's a very
I think that's a stock shot from The Apprentice.
Is it?
I think I've got a feeling all their sort of London shots like that are from The Apprentice.
Is that because the BBC still has a thing where you can sort of just grab stuff that is theirs and say, can we use yours? Can we use your locations or can we use your costumes? Do they still have that kind of...
I've got a feeling there was an episode of The Apprentice where they played one of the incidental tracks from one of the funky songs.
Yeah.
The music was used in The Apprentice, so I think there is a bit of, if it's BBC, a bit of swapping goes on.
Fair enough.
This is such a clever idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
That, it's because it's visual.
Mm-hmm.
It's expository, but in a useful way.
Yeah.
And it gives us a nice little climactic moment when he gets to the scary bit.
It's so good. Just like, what are the stakes? It's hard to visualize stakes. It's hard to sort of understand stakes when it's something like reality's bending. But going, well, if it's this glass and this glass breaks, you go, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Oh dear.
Look at those eyes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I always have to remind myself as well, things like that where he goes, okay, or yeah, that's just in the script, but he's chosen to be Chipper, suddenly switch on a dime to Chipper and sort of do that, then yeah.
And she's very good. She's very good, Tracy Ann Oberman. She's because I think one of the things I worried about when Doctor Who came back, because I love the acting in old Doctor Who, and I love that bridge that I talked of before between theatricality and television, and just because something is slightly larger, it doesn't mean it's any less truthful. Which is why I don't like whispering acting. I think you can be more interesting than that without sacrificing reality.
Yeah.
And I worried that the modern actor would not get that you can play Doctor Who in a certain way that means you can do stuff you couldn't do in other programs, but without being a dick. And actually the modern actor generally gets it right.
Yes.
And it's really nice seeing actors that you know from modern programs actually fit into Doctor Who and have a really good time doing it.
I remember being absolutely delighted seeing Sacha Dhawan, who's like a handsome, young, quite new actor, probably could be a bit shy or a bit sort of thing, just throwing himself into the Master and doing just enjoying it and kind of throwing himself into it.
Although it was very interesting then seeing him on behind the sofa watching Roger Delgado and going, oh, I could have been a bit more restrained, you know.
But then he does, doesn't he? Like, you almost see that kind of...
Yes, it's post-sofa. Yeah. The post-sofa Dhawan. And of course, this is when because it's a bit like American shows, isn't it? Where you have the regular cast, but actually they're augmented by sort of semi-regulars. And when they turn up, like Deep Space Nine, I think is my favourite of the Star Treks, because actually... The crew are all right, but it's got all those cool Cardassians, and it's got all the different parts that Jeffrey Coombs plays, and Garak, and all of those, and it's the sort of surrounding ensemble, and Nog, and Lita the Darbo girl, and all of those, and I think Russell realizes that if we make a moment of Mickey coming back, if we include Jackie Tyler as part of it, and then of course they bring back. Pete Tyler next week.
Yeah. But that's I love shows that feel very lived in. I always think that about Only Fools and Horses. Only Fools and Horses, like, if you look at all the people who there's like Denzel's girlfriend who'll turn up in like 1 or 2 episodes. It just feels like a real world, and I think that's what complements it. Or the Frasier has that as well, like the radio station and things. It's
yes.
And if those characters are consistent and interesting as well, then you're off to an absolute winner, because people like seeing anyone who those makes you feel like you're living, like you say, in a nice ensemble in an existing, breathing world.
But I have to say, when it started, I never thought I'd be, and he does that very well. I would be pleased to see Mickey, because after Rose, one of my takes of course, being an angry Doctor Who fan, was like, well, I don't like him because he did seem. And Russell refuted this when I put it to him in my interview with him, that he was playing a different show.
Right, yeah.
And I think
yeah.
Noel Clarke's actually said at the end of the first year, no, but I thought I was doing sort of kids' TV.
Yes, yeah.
And it was only when I sort of saw what everybody else was doing. And I think you can see that. I think the Mickey of Rose is a very different performance to the Mickey of
Yeah,
Series
it's hard,
2.
isn't it? You wonder if, and that could even be like a shooting schedule thing. Because if your first day on set, he's the Auton Mickey,
Yeah.
and you've got like this mad makeup, then that'll assuming like then the next day when you have to be normal Mickey, but then you know that you're going to be this mad looking kind of Max Headroom thing.
Yeah.
That might affect it as well. I don't know what the order it was filmed in, but yeah, I do think he changes it, and I think that Mickey becomes something deeper and more sort of three-dimensional.
It's things I like the way they type. They do the taken over typing very
Yes.
well.
And that's all. That's not how it looks, is it? They're typing. Their hands wouldn't be there if this was a literal thing. But that's.
Well, no, because if you look at her at the desk now,
Yeah.
so they would have had to stick the camera in
Yes.
the desk.
And then sort of raise the hands. It's more impressionistic, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's quite an impressionistic way of doing it, which, once again, if you're doing literal TV making, you might be less inclined to do. But because Graham Harper came from...
Well, I'm so pleased that Harper, who'd been such an admired figure in Classic Who, came back and actually showed he's still got game and is entrusted with the really important episodes. That makes me very proud of old Doctor Who and the fact that this didn't come to just sweep aside everything that had gone before.
Yeah.
It actually tipped her. Oh, yeah, of course she dies.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the other thing. So you think, well, she's definitely not becoming a companion.
And we get an I'm so sorry. Which did become a bit of a catchphrase, but also I like the fact that the Doctor recognises someone's humanity before, she was already dead, but sort of ending her consciousness. Sort of, I think that's quite.
that's quite horrible.
Yeah.
Pulls a bit of her brain out.
So yeah, it's pathetic, isn't it? You go from I'm so sorry to then there's a goopy brain.
And it's an enormous set. This as well. It's impressive because there's.
Yeah. Is this location or would this be a soundstage? Do you think?
You know what? I don't know.
Because there's me going, well, it's in Canary Wharf. You're like, no, it's not.
No, but the production design is very good on this one.
Tough doing lines down the barrel. I know he's like talking via communication, but for any actor, sort of making eye contact with the camera is always...
that's really hard. Actually, he's doing that really well.
Yeah.
Good actor, Raji. Nice chap.
Yeah. East is East.
Yeah.
When I first met him, he was having an argument with IMDb because they miscredited a lot of his parts to Ginny Mystery, and he was very angry.
Oh God! Yeah, well, because there's a slightly racist undertone to that, isn't there?
So a lot of these would be extras. These wouldn't be paid actors. If they're not saying lines, they would be extras.
Yeah, they are extras.
They do quite a good job as extras. They look scared and they look.
Well, I think extras have moved up a notch since. I mean, extras in Classic Who had to be equity members and were usually supplied by agents that specialise. But I think now you can also get extras with military background. So you go, we need somebody who can be a soldier.
Yeah.
And I think extras are much more. I think stick out less than some in some old telly that you watch. I think there was a conscious move to make sure that you had extras that knew what they were doing. I love that. That's just so simple.
Yeah,
it's just
and
a bit of tarpaulin
and it's
and
a
the Cyberman and it's
There's a bit of Tomb in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's a subtle reference, but it's there if people want to spot it.
How do you feel about the clunky unison noise cyber stuff going on?
Because the Foley is just there to give them weight, isn't it? It's sort of ja-junk, ja-junk. And I'd imagine that's handy, because they're all plastic, aren't they? And I imagine on set they don't sound that threatening, whereas you sort of want to do anything to make them sound like they are militaristic and heavy and kind of threatening. And
yeah, because in the old way of making Doctor Who, if they brushed past a piece of it, you'd hear it sort of the plastic collide with the wood, and it would damage the impact, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Whereas this, like, even the isn't the Foley for like the sonic screwdriver like a bottle opener or something? It's like a thing just because it sounds like metally and clicky and tactile.
Yeah, it's all that stuff that you don't really notice is being done, but it is being done.
And it's so important because all that stuff. When someone picks up a rock and it's clearly a bit of polystyrene scraping across a bit of a set floor. You hear it and you just go, oh, it's I don't believe this is a planet anymore, kind of thing.
Well, I when I visited Russell to do the Dursley documentary, I went on the Unit HQ set in Doctor. And it's perspex, it's thin wood, it's not, it feels shit. You forget when you're acting on it as well. It's like acting on stage where you're on. It's not real. It looks real on the telly because of the sheen it's given and the way it feels. But actually, because of course it has to be cheaper than building a building. But you forget that because of what modern cameras and modern lighting does to sets.
We've moved on from the time-lash console falling apart, but not that much. Like, it wouldn't fall apart, but it would be it would still be made of like balsa wood and spray painted.
So I think we missed. Did we miss Alistair Appleton getting strangled? He goes, "They're not ghosts, they're metal men." And he's playing himself. So he's
dead.
He's dead in real life. That's like Kenneth Kendall in the War Machines. Getting suddenly a war machine comes into the studio and shoots him.
I think that's the only example I can think of where that actually happened. Sadly, Anne Widdecombe survives.
Yes, and McFly. But because this is clever, isn't it? Because this is the twist. The ghosts are Cybermen, but we kind of probably, I think,
we did
knew that, and of course, but it's got the twist on the twist.
Yes, and that.
Here he is. Yeah, look.
Hey!
I think that's such a bold manoeuvre.
Davina just about survived. They didn't kill Davina.
No.
Also, the line "a footprint doesn't look like a boot" is once again, that's great Russell writing of like, it just sells. Oh, okay, that's why they look like ghosts, and it just sells the idea very quickly and very efficiently. It's what he does so well, isn't it? That kind of thing.
Yes, I went off the internet for life when that family who were on the stairs cowering. The woman's got dark curly hair, and there are some people on the internet who decide that any man with glasses. Was an extra, or any woman with dark curly hair were Russell T Davies and Julie Gardner doing cameos, and I hate the internet. I hate everybody.
It's one thing you don't know until, I haven't done a huge amount of TV productions, but like that's like a lot of their day would be spent doing that. Why would they spend half a day doing that when they need to like approve like 1,000 different things? It's like, you sort of think, oh, surely they just went in for a little thing, but filming takes forever, and they wouldn't want to be in costume and do all that stuff. It's the thing like that really gets me is when people think people make things bad deliberately, which no one has ever done in the history of anything.
No. Yes, well, and I mean, I spent a lot of my teenage years being told that the reason Doctor Who was good was because it was so terrible. It's like, no, I don't like it because it's shit. This was, I remember where I was. I lived round the corner from here. I remember the living room, and I just remember this being, I knew it was coming. I'd seen that black Dalek, but my brain had been complicit in its own in tricking itself.
Yes,
and it was the most exciting thing.
Incredible,
amazing.
And no, does it have a trail? Or
it will have a trail at the end,
right? Because
they decided, I think, after Aliens of London, I think Stephen Moffat had said to Russell, but we see him, the cliffhanger's got him in mortal danger, and the next time shows him running around the house of number 10 Downing Street. So at least bridge it with the closing credits.
Fair enough.
Which
Moffat's
I think is quite wise.
Got a lot of theories about two-parters, hasn't he, and things like that. He's got like his whole thing about like, oh, it feels like you've been stuck there for a week. And it should actually be something different, is sort of something that which I'm not sure I 100% agree with, but I get it where it comes from a writing point of view.
Yes, I'm not a big fan of jumping location and tone in the second part of a two-parter.
But this is what you're selling next time. It's like there's going to be a Cyberman Dalek battle.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him, handsome man. I've acted with him.
Andrew Hayden Smith?
Yes.
In what?
I think it's Ability, which is the Lost Voice Guy radio sitcom. That I did a bit in that, and he's very lovely. Because I think he plays Lost Voice Guys in a monologue, I believe, in that show. It's very well put together.
It's quite a nice cheat, isn't it? Is that they end the Next Time trailer on the Cyberman saying, we should join forces. So they're leading you to think, oh, the Daleks and the Cybermen are going to join forces, without realizing actually it's just a really quick joke where the Daleks go, no, sod off, because it had always been a thing, hadn't it? It had always been a thing. The Daleks and the Cybermen,
there they are together.
But they're not. So what do we do, Tom? Do we have a little break where we write down our things, or do we? Yeah,
or we could just discuss. We don't have to have a competitive element. We could just sort of say, because as I was watching it, I was collecting little bits.
Okay.
But where are we?
Is that you or is that me?
That's me.
Okay. Okay. So it's. Oh, and it's a new series episode because we're not doing the two-parter.
No.
So do we choose 5 each?
Do 5 each?
5 each?
Yeah.
Okay. And what, we go one after the other?
Does that sound fair?
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Well, guest can go.
Thank you. Okay.
First.
I really like Jackie sitting on the little on the sort of mezzanine level of the TARDIS. I think she looks really funny. I think it's the funny joke about like, oh no, she's come with us, and she looks sort of adorable. It's like a little teddy bear on a shelf, and I think that's a really funny shot. And that sort of, I think that's quite charming.
I think it does, and it sums up that gang show thing of the fact that actually the Doctor and Rose are given ballast by those other characters that come back and make you feel like you're part of a fuller universe than perhaps Doctor Who often does. Yeah. Well, I'm going to choose. I have to say, it still sticks with me. I love the fact they kill somebody real. I love the fact that I didn't know who Alistair Appleton was, but I knew he was a presenter and I knew he was playing himself. And you think you've seen a lot of that stuff before because it's the cameo, it's the newsreader, it's the you've got Derek Acora and Barbara Windsor and all that. Oh no, they've killed the guy, and he's not an actor. He does it very well. So that's my favourite. They've got a real, and it's a unique moment in Doctor Who.
It's true. Russell's very good in his finales of sort of doing things where you sort of go, oh, that breaks the rules. Like Here Come the Drums, where you're like, oh, that's strange that the Master is aware, cognizant of like modern music and is using it to massacre people and stuff. Yeah, he sort of breaks the fourth wall a bit, which I think is really good.
I love all the use of music in the early days of New Who. I remember Britney Spears being in End of the World just suddenly made it feel like my funny old programme was sort of relevant and cool and fun. Yeah.
My second one is going to be Raji James, because I think he's great. I think he's really good in this, and I think he knowing him and him getting the inside sort of scoop on that beforehand was really fun. And then him, we don't see in this one, obviously. He has an amazing death. He has an absolutely brilliant death. But the death only works because of his fairly limited screen time. You really like him, and I think he really sells that he's a character that you like early on. So yeah, Raji James.
Well, then I'm going to be the bigger person because I'm going to choose Tracy Ann Oberman as what's she called? Yvonne Hartman.
Yvonne Hartman.
Yeah, and I have a mental stumble there because when I was the warm-up man, which I did at very late notice on Dad's Army, and I was doing them a favour, and it's a hard job, especially when you are an actor as well, and you're basically doing the heavy lifting for the actors who are getting to do the nice stuff.
Yes.
And most people with an ounce of niceness about them are very appreciative of that. And people, I know Kevin McNally and Robert Bathurst, who I never met, actually came up and introduced himself and said, thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. Matthew Horn, who I hadn't seen for years, who has done XS Malarkey, Gavin and Stacey,
nice.
actually said when he came on, ladies and gentlemen, Toby gave me my first gig when I was around. Please give him a round of applause, blah, 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 blah. And I'd done some stuff about Doctor Who, and Tracy Ann Oberman said, if you know so much about Doctor Who, what did I do? And I went, you were Yvonne from Torchwood, or whatever I said. And she said, that wasn't my name, or something like that, and just sort of undermined me in front of everybody, and wasn't helpful, and she plummeted in my opinion. However, I'm the bigger person because I still think she's very good in that, and judges exactly how to do the comedic and the dramatic tone of Doctor Who very well, and I hope she was just having an off day.
Yes, it can be strange, especially seeing as there are no audience sitcoms that I think people get in their own head, don't they, about comedy. And if they're not a stand-up comedian, I remember I did some work with someone who's sort of become very famous, and they were sort of presenting something, and I had to write the script for it, and they went, don't give me stand-up, I don't want to do stand-up comedy. And I was like, no, but I'll give you a line that will get a titter that you won't have to like sell, but you'll just sort of, if you just read it, it should elicit mild laughter. And that person got so in their own head and did not want to, because they said, I'm not a comedian. It's like, no, but I'm not asking you to be anyway. So I'm just wondering if sometimes people get a bit defensive when it's like they're surrounded by comedians and comedy isn't their thing, not to try and
Yeah.
but who knows? Who was the Clive Dunn?
Kevin Eldon,
Good casting.
who had just done. I said, you were in the Mad Scandi Mirror episode, and he said, yes, that's the way I describe it. Yeah, I'd worked with Kevin before. I'd done a couple of gigs with him at the 99 Club, but he was good casting. Yeah,
yes.
Timothy West was Godfrey.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, David Heyman was, and I got, because I got to introduce all the cast. That was one of the things you do, and I introduced it. So I said, star of stage and screen, Edward VII, Timothy West, star of Gavin and Stacey Matthew, and I introduced Kevin, and I said, Kevin McNally, star of Pirates of the Caribbean and something else, and I said, what has been consistently voted the worst Doctor Who story of all time, because I knew he did take it.
That's
he was
nice.
very good. Yeah. He strangled me in front of everybody, but he absolutely took it as he should.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
And he's been. In Doctor Who terms, is he in Village of Angels, which I think is considered one of the best of the series. So
yes, but his wife Phyllis was there, and we had a lovely chat. A few years off her, I suggest taking the mantle off him for being in the worst Doctor Who story by herself appearing in the Battle of Ravscore Avkolos. So it was almost like, you've suffered for long enough,
yes.
Kevin. I shall be in a worse Doctor Who episode than you have been.
So what am I on 3?
Yes, because I've just told the story I vowed I'd never tell. You've brought my you've brought my showbiz bitterness out of me. Chapter 7 of my autobiography, where I have the last laugh. Anyway, yes, over to you for your third.
I'm going to steal from you, but I'm going to go for the polythene that they use, because polythene has been used since Tomb of the Cybermen, and it is used in Earthshock as well. And here they sort of nod to it, and it makes sense, because that's what you have when you have like a floor of a building that's being sort of done up and things. So it feels like a nod that isn't winking. It's just there, and it's quite elegant.
Yeah, no, I think that's... Well, I'm going to be very obvious, and I have to choose the cliffhanger.
Yes.
Because it's... I love the fact we're getting nostalgic about something that was new and really exciting when it was new, and going back to it. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Because I not only think it's a good episode of Doctor Who, but it brings all of that stuff flooding back. And I remember that moment, and and if it was a moment when I was 32, imagine if you were a 8, 9, or 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And you're still a Doctor Who fan now. That's going to be something that's going to stay with you forever. And no matter what happens to you as a grown up, you're still going to be in touch with that childhood you. And I think that's what's so brilliant about Doctor Who. And it's just especially is the fact that I'd been spoiled. I knew it, and yet it works. It still worked, and I'd managed to convince myself that I'd just managed to shut off that part of my brain.
Also, you can know the bare facts of a spoiler, but when you see like those three reacting to it and the music, like a spoiler doesn't have a score. And it doesn't have like Billie Piper acting and all those things. I sometimes think you can sort of know the bare facts, but then when you see it still, you're like, oh my God, it's better than I could have imagined, kind of thing.
Yeah.
My fourth thing is going to be a strange one, but it's something that weirdly has persisted way beyond this, which is the 3D glasses that he wears. That actually turn out quite like I think there was an action figure that had 3D glasses, and they pay off really nicely, but they're sort of it's just a great idea. You sort of forget that didn't exist, and then Russell T Davies had to come up with the idea that the way you see if things have void energy is that you've got these 3D glasses, and he's going to wear them a whole episode before they pay off, and you're just going to trust that the Doctor's being, sort of has an idea, that kind of thing. And so I think that that's a really nice bit of a use of something that like kids would have access to and everything else.
Yeah, it's something you could come up with something much more complicated and believable in a way, and it wouldn't help. So you may as well just do that because it's enough.
And maybe he did have goggles that then they couldn't afford. But as with a lot of this stuff, the cheaper, more imaginative version is better. So I quite like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't get in the way. I'm going to choose something a bit more nebulous now. For me, it's the fact that it feels like the apex of a sort of accumulation. You know, you've got the Torchwood thing. You've got the fact that beloved characters are coming back. You've got the fact that it's that clever thing of that now I think has become a bit of a cliche or something we're a little bit used to of the season having an arc or whatever. But remember, this is only the second season back, and prior to that we'd had Bad Wolf, which was, as we know, was a bit of a kind of cheat. Torchwood is not quite so much. Torchwood is a tangible thing, and it was a bit of a sleight of hand, because we thought it was all about setting up the series of Torchwood. We didn't realise that we're setting up the location of the conclusion of the season. It was just like, oh, this is just a cheeky pluggage for the sideshow. So I remember that then feeling like everything was building up to a kind of wow. And they'd already done that with Bad Wolf. So again, they're trying to do a trick for the second time, and that's very, very hard. And I think it's more solid. It's better. It's more effective. And again, it feels like you're a part of something that is more than a sum of its parts, and yet it's got all these working things that are coming together. And I think that's one of the master strokes of what Russell did with Doctor Who when he brought it back, was that a season was a series of headlines that built to the sort of big Sunday paper.
And Torchwood didn't exist before Series 2. It wasn't. We're not reaching back into, sort of the past Doctors or something, a grab bag of kind of IP that you can throw at people. It was organic from the series, and the series told a story that created it and then explored it and everything else. And that I prefer than just sort of going, it's the Master's back, or sort of something that there have been great Master reveals, but or just sort of throwing something at you that you remember. It's like, no, you created it, and it's really fun. Right, number 5. Because I really like. We talked about it before. I really like the fact that Freema Agyeman's in it. I really like the fact that Karen Gillan is in Fires of Pompeii. I like the fact that they clearly use. I don't think she dies in Fire of Pompeii, but they sort of I think what it does to me is just say, if you're ever given a small part in something, people are sort of eyeing you up and going, well, okay, no, you were good, you knew all your lines and you did a good thing, and okay, it doesn't sort of
gives us all hope.
Exactly.
I think she does die at Fire of Pompeii. I think that's the whole point. I think they all die because it's Pompeii, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody gets out of there alive.
No, she's not clinging to the side of the TARDIS.
But you're right. We don't see her die. Yeah, no, we don't see her die. Yes, that's nice, because it's a nice story, sort of on stage and off, isn't it? Doctor Who's got for Peter Purvis. Let's not forget
the same story. That is mad.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm going to I think I'm going to choose Graham Harper.
Yay!
For all the reasons I said about the fact that it ties into the old series, but also he does so many subtle touches, but also I think his pacing, and you know that from On the Floor when he does all that. I just think his grasp of how to pace an episode is second to none, and it's just a really lovely story. The fact that the guy who was the director in the latter half of the first iteration of the show comes back and more than holds his own. Good old Graham.
And he would have been doing that's multicam when he was doing Revelation and when he was doing it. And now he's doing single cam, and those are two very different ways of directing, aren't they? Like that is. There's not as many transferable skills as if he was like a music video director and he went to directing Doctor Who. So it is incredibly impressive to be like one where you're in a gallery and you're cutting to the things, and then to have something that you're assembling in an edit. Yeah, it's amazing to have both of those skills and do them both so well. That's incredible.
Well, there we go.
I hope this has Do you think people will like this, or do they think they wanted me to be quiet because you were sort of
I think
more knowledgeable?
No, I think they will be absolutely delighted that I certainly was. It's nice to have somebody to bounce off, and especially as we come from different. We're not that much different in age, but enough difference in age that our experiences are completely different, and yet we both have an equal amount of passion, but it's been stoked in different ways. How much older? How am I older than you? Oh, I'm about 14 years older.
13 years.
Yeah. So.
But it was a weird moment because I recommended my parents came to see your show, and they said, so we're going to say, is he closer to your age or our age? And it was the first time I've sort of gone, and you're closer to my age, but sort of gone, there's like a leapfrog, sort of thing. And that was quite strange for me to sort of think about that. But yeah, you are. But then I think what they wanted to do is just go, we're not going to see a show by a 20-year-old, are we? It's somebody who's actually had a bit of a life. But yeah, I think you'll like this because it's an adult doing comedy.
And they didn't kill you afterwards?
They did not. No. No, they loved it. I think they may have been repeat visitors as well because.
Oh, bless them.
Yeah, that was the same venue as and the same year as also. Sister Psycho, Danielle Ward's Sister Psycho. That venue was, although maybe that was the venue next door, but my goodness, what amazing stuff was going on in that venue at that time.
Well, and that brings us neatly, because we cannot go because this will come out before August 2026. We're recording this in June 2026. Yes. And between now and August, you are putting together a show I saw tonight for a preview, mate. It's in extraordinary show. I could see that at Edinburgh and be happy. Tell us about your Edinburgh show.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I didn't mean to do the segue, but it has worked out very nicely. My show is called Portrait of a Tom as a Young Neenan. And it is it's one story. I sort of do storytelling stuff, but hopefully it has the joke density of stand-up. And it's about something that sort of happened to me about 2 years ago that encompasses sort of art failures, a bit of AI chat, and sort of reflections on the self. But hopefully it's also funny. And I just had a lovely preview at XS Malarkey where everyone was incredibly supportive. It's a lovely gang. But yeah, I'll be doing that at the Fringe. There's no Doctor Who references in it at the minute. I'll have to do one subtle one somewhere to kind of get it in. I won't feel that I've fulfilled the remit unless there's a little attend carefully or something that kind of only hardcore fans will know. So I'll make sure there's something in there by Edinburgh.
I look forward to you strangling yourself and going, they're metal men.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, what a delight. This is a bonus episode of Happy Times and Places. The first time I've done it with somebody else. Tom Neenan, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely.
Cheers, everyone. I hope it wasn't too echoey. Thanks to Tom. As a postscript, you can follow him at TPNeenan on Instagram. And the morning after the night before was when Tom and I were together, when we discovered the news came through that the doctor has been prescribed another rest. So how apposite, I suppose, that we were there the night before celebrating, one of the heights reached by the return of Doctor Who the day before it entered another phase. I'm not going to be pessimistic or maudlin about it. I'm quite philosophical about it, actually, which is strange and interesting, and I'm pondering spending the rest of my day writing how I feel about that and turning that into a podcast, processing it in that way. But for now, I just think it's worth commenting that it's amazing what heights Doctor Who reached and what it came back from, and to be reminded of that, and then the very next day be told, well, actually, it might be going back to the place where it wasn't doing an awful lot for a while. But as we know, nothing is forever. Everything dies, but everything somehow lives again in different forms too. But yes, I thought worth acknowledging, because those are the two sides of the Doctor Who coin, aren't they? But more than anything, how lovely to be reminded that Tom, who I see on the internet and social media, and probably listen to more than speak with, because I listened to his wonderful podcast that he does with John Rain and Paul Litchfield, the wheezing, groaning sound. It's a bit filthier and naughtier than my output, but it's very, very funny. And they love Doctor Who. They just express it in evil ways. Ha ha ha. It's actually a reminder of how nice it is to get together with people with whom you get on and who have shared interests. And we made a podcast out of that. That was Tom's idea because we thought it would be fun. So a bit different, bit off the beaten track. We've slightly messed around with the format of, we're not doing Doomsday, we're just doing the first part. We've left it on a cliffhanger. Things have been left out. We're gonna put Doomsday out to tender and see who picks up the baton. So for now, yeah, we broke protocol, and what could possibly go wrong? Only that we killed Doctor Who. So as a result, next time normal service will be resumed. Thanks very much for listening to Happy Times and Places, which is presented by me, Toby Haydock, and my special guest this time around was Tom Neenan, who you can find on Instagram at TPNeenan, and do listen to his podcast, A Wheezing Groaning Sound, that he does with Paul Litchfield and John Rain. I'm grateful to Tom and to the patrons who make these podcasts possible, and they include Andrew Hughes, Tom, Matthew Bovington, Matthew James, Patrick Stratford, Andy Kaminsky, Richard Gray, Daniel Frankham, Craig Williams, Paul Hull, Ultan, John Caliber, Jack Rayner, Elliot Stonhill, Ian Redmond, George Bell, Stuart Johnson, Stephen Moffat, Peter Burns, James Curley-Smith, Peter Harness, Ronald Hayden, Rob Leonard, Christopher Meredith, Gavin McLean, Richard Straw, Neil Tate and Nick Tedston. And the Tom I mentioned was not Tom Neenan, it's Tom for whom I don't have a surname. So new patron Tom, tell me your surname if you want it read out. The music is by Dave Gates, the artwork by Dylan Patterson. So yes, that was a shout out to new patron Tom, because those people I read out amongst the newer patrons, those who've joined up at patreon.com/Toby Haydock, where for as little as £3 a month, they and you, if you would like, can get access to early podcasts, exclusive releases, behind the scenes material from my DVD and Blu-ray antics, and all sorts of other stuff. It's a lovely community to hang out in as well, and tiers start from as little as £3 a month and go all the way up to, well, as much as you'd like, but it's pretty everything is available at the lowest tier, and it's a way of supporting independent creatives these days, don't you know? And it's how I'm able to justify the time spent doing what I hope is a professional job, making programs that you quite like. So thanks, I'm really grateful to the Patreon community, and it is a lovely place to hang around, actually, I have to say, curated by the audience themselves, really, and it's a real joy, and I'm grateful to them. And if you would like to be part of it, I'd be very grateful to you. You can also fund these by not signing up to a monthly obligation, by going to kofi.com/Toby Haydock, or you can support these in a non-financial way, which is I'm still grateful that you listen and are just there. But if you give these 5 stars, like, subscribe, sign up, spread the word via cyberspace, all of that other stuff that costs nothing but is invaluable to me, then I'd be extremely grateful. I do all the social media. I'm on Facebook. There's a Facebook Toby Haydock page where you can follow me rather than be my friend. I mean, it's still me. It just gives me some lofty distance from you. And it's because I've got too many Facebook friends. I'm not boasting. I don't know most of them, but I just couldn't say no, and then got to 5,000. So somebody showed me how to do a page. But that's where you get all the information. I'm also on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to that. I'm on Blue Sky, and I'm also on Twitter at Toby Haydock and at Haydock Podcasts, because I try to be all things to all people. Oh, it was kind of nice in a way that I was with Tom. I suppose it's that sort of trench spirit, isn't it? To actually be with somebody when that news comes through. I'm still processing it because it's only a couple of hours later. But I wonder if I should go and write something, just put my thoughts down, and because that's how we do it these days. It's all about self-expression. It's all about me, darling. But I think the whole point is, it's not really anymore. That's what interests me, is that maybe I've been lucky enough to have so much Doctor Who in my life that I can view this as a sort of historical event that I can be slightly distanced from, and look at in sort of context rather than go, oh, this hurts me because my favourite thing isn't going to happen for a while. And also I think because I'm quite confident that it will come back and that Doctor Who will never die. So that's my it's not a ghost. Doctor Who is not a ghost. It's something big and solid and scary that will manifest itself again in all sorts of terrifying and brilliant ways. But anyway, solidarity, everybody. We're all this thing that binds us all together, but we bind together in different ways now, don't we? I fling this out into the ether, and you listen to it at a time that's convenient to you, and so we're together, and yet we're apart, and we're all doing the same thing, but actually under very different circumstances of time, location, mood, whatever. Ha ha.